Hey, hey, I hope everyone can hear me. This is a completely different laptop. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. I know people will be coming into the room, into the space here. Get this music cue back up. I left my laptop over my friends. Get this boosted up a little bit here so we can be a little eye to eye here. There we go. We make it work, man. We make it work. I think that's my white belt on here. That's off. Who's in the room? Let's go. Thank you for tapping into me, tapping into the expanded conscious family. No matter what you're doing right now, I know some of y'all might be laying down, relaxing. Just bob your head just a little bit. Just a little bit. I had to develop, just have something of my own, right? Just a little bit of music here. Miss Holly? Yes, yes. Thank you. Got Miss Dorothy, Miss Marie, and my brother, Ron Hudson. Woo! We in the building, y'all. We here. Hey, Miss Deidre. I appreciate you for everything you do. Gotta kick them out. Go. I don't want to deal with no rodents. They're just my dogs. Yes. So, good evening. Good evening. I appreciate everyone that's in the room, that's here with me in this moment. We should have a good time. This is what you might have hopefully got the my little announcement there. It went out late, of course. I need to get those things out way before, but sometimes things just hit me late. But I was at a basketball game up until 7:45. No, or late. Yeah, about 7:45. Gotta be there. Gotta attend. Some of them, at least. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Get that off the Miss Deidre. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. So, Miss Cynthia, thank you so much. Bear with me. One of the things I want to, of course, I still have the community. It started, and so I have posts that are going in. There's something that I would like to do. I would like to get as many people as I can, especially, of course, those that are signed up in the Patreon. I want to do a Zoom. I would like to do a Zoom as soon as possible, but I want to make sure I have plenty of people that will attend so we can just kind of connect all together. That Zoom will be available even on the free level of the Patreon. So that's Expanded Conscious Family on there. This is not my normal laptop. So I'll have to, let me get the link for y'all. So you'll have the link with let's see, how do I get this link here? Expanded Conscious Community is what that is titled as. Y'all stick around. Don't fall asleep. We're gonna get this rocking and rolling. I'll try to get this link posted on this stream before this evening is over because I would love to, once again, I would love to just be able to come together with a Zoom and kind of have a meet and greet, right? And let me get this. Here we go. Yes, this is going to work out easier than I thought. Just so that you guys know, there's so much little setup in these things here. So tell me, how's it going? How's life treating y'all? There it is in the cool. It posted at least to one of the Facebooks. Some reason why I'm having error, and then I'll go ahead and post it here on a banner, so you kind of have an idea. Well, you can see that for a minute. Make sure you like and share. We're gonna get on with the show. So I'm not sure if you noticed the post or what this is, or you just tapped in. I know some people just tap in because they know I'm live here at 8:30, wanting to do that and to be here. It's probably going to be easier to, since this is not my normal laptop, easier to pull it up on my phone. But this evening, we're looking at something a little different. Moving into 2025, I know one thing for sure, and that is not just us looking at how we are growing within our own self, and especially when it comes to spirituality, but also looking at how we are able to expand who we are, expand our awareness, also expand our consciousness. And so this evening, you might have seen the post, but it says vibrating at the frequency of your greatness. Vibrating at the frequency of your greatness. There are so many energies and so many people that are energy vampires, right? So many things that are energy vampires. Our phones can be energy vampires, or energy pulling. Not necessarily ought to consider a vampire. It's more of the things that you can do with it can end up making you be distracted. To me, more of a vampire is a person that comes into the room and they absorb and they suck the energy out of the room, where you'd be like, man, I don't want to be over here. I don't want to be around these people. Anybody experience something like that? I know for a fact that I have people in the room right now that have experienced energy vampires. Come on. Vibrating at the frequency of greatness. We got to define what that greatness is, right? To you. Then we'll back up and also look at what frequency is. And then we'll look at what, of course, understanding what vibration is. I don't, I always have, of course, I go through so much, look at so many different videos. And as far as like on YouTube and resources, and that's one of the things that I'm going to dump so that you don't have to go and do a bunch of searching, because you can search and search and search things like YouTube until you You can search it all day, and who knows what you're going to come across. Most of the time, you're going to come across some more content or something that may not elevate you, may not be working for you. It's just content. So, one of the things I want to tell you right now is be cognizant and aware as things are sucking life from you, right? Be aware that that's happening. Set your intentions. Yeah, anybody with me? All right. I have so many accounts here on my YouTube. Check this stream here, making sure y'all in this room. We can go ahead and cut this banner off. Yes, yes. All right, JT's in the room. Yes. I like that. Mr. Ron Hudson says thrive in 25 here. He's on YouTube. So for all your Facebook folks, I like thrive in 25. Brother Joel is in the building. Yes, yes. And Mr. JT. And looks like it's showing here. I know we got many others here, but let's just get straight to this. And so one of the things I want to do is I want to make sure that understanding energy, right, it's pretty simple to understand energy from a simple standpoint, not getting into the deep science, but it takes energy to do things. And we know that energy can't be created or destroyed, it just changes forms. And so, energy is something that we are all around, and it is all around us. There are different forms of energy. Energy and how we have learned about it is how we have come to this place in this world. Being able to do what we do is by understanding how to manipulate energy. It's all around us. It's all through us. So we're going to raise the vibration, right? Just like the tone of my voice. Just like as you're hearing my voice come from my mouth using my energy that's vibrating a diaphragm, kind of like plastic piece, and electrodes. There's positive and negative, and it's taking that and vibrating that signal, sending it through the wire, going all through the equipment, going to the internet. Come on, y'all. We live in an age of a deeper age of enlightenment that I believe is crossing over into an awakening, which a lot of times they would call those spiritual, or and they would title those or tag those to mostly the movement of Christianity in America. There's been, they considered 3 great awakenings outside of even like the Pentecostal movement, but vibrating at the frequency of your vibrating at the frequency of your greatness. How does that resonate with y'all? Some people here, some people not. You know, Miss Marie says, Miss Marie has on here, lost my client Saturday before I noticed grief was trying to take over me. Okay. We want to send positive energy, of course, out there to Miss Marie. Also, you may not see her on here, but Miss Dolores out of Detroit. Um, Her brother transitioned, is what we would say, because he did 3 tours in Vietnam. He was an amazing man. Detroit, Michigan. Miss Dolores, she's a part of the community, 100%. She's also in school. 71, finishing her bachelor's degree, uh, because of the fact that she's committed to it and has the opportunity to finish. So she's doing her bachelor's, retired, and she was caregiving for her brother, and he just transitioned. I was able to be with her on the phone as that was taking place. And so, for anyone that has um, lost anyone, or a person has been transitioned from this space in the physical form as we know it, I, of course, 100% recognize the beauty of life, and oddly, the beauty of the transition of life is something that we should learn how to respect it, right? But this year, vibrating at the frequency of your greatness. Everybody, deep breaths in and release. Let's get 3 of them. Deep breath in, slow release. We live, get my notes here. We live in a world of incredible possibilities. Anybody agree? Um, and yet we could feel blocked. Some of us do it now. I go through it. We can feel held back. Anybody out there with me? We can feel disconnected. And what are we disconnected from? Even if we're going through and doing all the things that we think that we're supposed to be doing, we can still go through these things. But there could be a disconnection from our higher self. And we begin to wonder why. Have you ever contemplated that? You ever contemplate where you are, why you are, and what are you doing to make changes in your life? What are you doing if you think that you need to change? One of the things, we'll get back to this, of course, that's one of the key things about meditation. We'll get back to that. I would say we have only scratched the surface. A lot of things we feel like we have overcome, or feel like we have done, but I believe in humanity, we've only really scratched the surface of what spirituality means. And as we come into understanding vibration and frequency, I was writing something, uh, maybe I think it might have been this morning, and it was related to um, rethinking the law of attraction. And the reason why we think it, I was believing we rethink it, is because, of course, how people have ran off with the fact that you think something and you don't know why you desire, but you think something and you want it just to happen. But there was a statement in that writing, and it was Nikola Tesla, and it said the day science begins to study the non-physical phenomenon, it will make more progress in 1 decade than all of the previous centuries of his existence. Anybody follow that? Tesla, who was a phenomenal physicist and scientist who worked with, I believe, Thomas Edison, I believe it was. And of course, there was the AC versus DC. Um, and but he said that the day science begins to study the non-physical, science study the non-physical, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all of the previous centuries of existence. Are we reaching, or have we reached to the moment or point that we begin to understand and realize that we can study things outside of the non physical, the meta? Outside, and this is going past what I call the woo woo. You know, all of the new age thinking and how we view spirituality and how we view uh, 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 how people view it and see things, like, because they call pretty much everything new age. Anything outside of what has been preached or told in, of course, the Bible, which leads me to understand that, of course, when we think about um, the non-physical, and when we think about spiritual, it is an automatic thing to think about the institutionalization of religion. We're feeling blocked. We may feel held back. We may feel disconnected from our higher self, right? And I believe it's because we haven't even scratched the surface, or we beginning to scratch the surface. Because for generations, we've been we've been we've been taught to connect to the divine, or to our higher self, through kind of limited frameworks, which is what I would say, which means basically the institutionalization of certain religions. And earlier on, whenever they were the Salem witch trials and moving forward, burning witches at the stake, which they weren't, come to find out, they may have certain practices, but it was really hard, one was named Dorothy something. Can't remember her last name, but she was 4 years old. And I believe she had mental, possibly some disabilities. But, anyways, they took her word, who led to her mother, but they killed both of them, right? I think they killed like 16 people. And that was kind of setting the stage in the mid 1600s, right? In terms of great awakenings and in terms of enlightenments. But I want to take Christianity, for example, where how we have the concept of the Holy Spirit. And in my background in church, when you say Holy Spirit, you are relating to the Holy Ghost. But the Holy Spirit, or the Holy Ghost, is something that is the helper, or something that gives you some kind of extra human insight and extra human power. But I want to tell you, throughout history, the that idea has been kind of it has been associated, it has been connected to those those awakenings. And I can actually say and give benefit of the doubt that it was profound for that era and time, for people to feel some level of emotion, some level of connection to something outside of themselves. But I think also there were people connecting to something that was deeper and inside themselves too. In the same time, it just wasn't getting that much attention. But throughout history, we've 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 seen these awakenings, moments that individuals have connected and felt connected to something deeper or greater. Yet, even with these awakenings, even with these awakenings, how often have we been confined to specific doctrines with it? Those doctrines are also leading to rituals, preventing us essentially from fully realizing the innate power to connect with the divine essence on our own terms. On our own terms. Some people, let's see here, some people say intuition, which I there is a science, if you will, to more of a science base to understanding intuition than when we use the terminology to the Holy Spirit, but I believe it still aligns. It's just basically um categorized, maybe we could say limited to a specific space or area, which we would consider that within Christianity. Although I believe and know that they're talking about, you know, intuition. But does it function? How does it function outside of the context? Right. There's a book I really like called Magic, Real Magic, RealMagic, Real Magic by Dr. Dean Radin. And he basically talks about the history of the word, the history of what it was. He is a studier of the non physical, he is a paranormal scientist, right? And he was the CI scientist for the CIA in whenever they were doing um, I believe they were studying consciousness. I believe also they were also studying psychics and developed, one of the greatest psychic networks and begin to do science and see how well those people can pinpoint certain situations through the world and how well it works. And it really remote viewing, absolutely. Thank you, John Thomas. And it really did actually work. They discovered that we have the ability to do remote viewing, being able to sense, feel, and connect to something outside of us that's in the physical and be able to give some accurate information. This is that now, this is not that's deeper or different than even talking medium shit. Mediums can tap in and tune into dead, right, or unalive, or spirits or essences of people that have transitioned, and they give very specific um stories that let those people know that it's them. There's some people out there that are really good at that, but remote viewing is being able to use my abilities or use you connect to what's happening somewhere else accurately, right? But one of the things that we've heard of, and I wanted to bring it to light, um, and we'll get on to even deeper onto the topic, but I want you to know and get some of this um, history. So, the age of enlightenment, that I believe we've had more than one, and we are currently, I believe, experiencing one. There was one, it you could probably consider it one long one. I believe it's from the mid 16 or somewhere around the mid late 1600s, all the way up to the 1800s, right? And that's when science and math and um, um, justice and philosophy become very important, and it makes a difference in the world because the world begins to advance and you begin to have um, and understand people, understand things, understand how things work, understand, begin to ask questions. The age of enlightenment, it gave us a glimpse to me as we're here witnessing to what is possible. What is possible when we expand beyond the rigid beliefs and the belief systems? Now, sometime I believe those people that are working within the guy under the guise of technology is taking advantage of an enlightenment and using it to produce and spew produce and spew um, various denominational rhetoric related, especially in America, with evangelicalism, traditional or fundamentalism. Um, you simply go online and there are what we call influencers, Christian and I would say almost American Christian influencers that are like um, online just doing whatever they want to do and talking about things that, for the most part, that they want to talk about, making it up, half of it, right? Or using some levels of history. But the rigid belief systems, and we're constantly spewing those, is what I believe doesn't align necessarily. At that time, it did not align. Of course, we know it wasn't just about science and reasoning. I believe also some of that was an awakening. We just didn't call it that. Some of it was what I consider higher levels or deeper levels of consciousness. Even to say or think of the word, oh, how do that back then I believe it was called con science. A recognition that we are both beings of energy, come out of some of that era, and capable of vibrating at frequencies far beyond what we've been conditioned to believe. Right now, we are conditioned. I believe there was an era in time, like especially during the Egyptian time, that they weren't limited by the same, what would I say, earth laws that we are. Yeah, they may have had gravity, but I mean, look at the pyramids. Somehow, some way, there was ways. There's various theories. We start getting into intergalactic and aliens and things of that nature. Which you know, so be it. As a metaphysician, I have to be. I mean, part of that you have to be open to being like, yeah, there could be something else outside of us that we just weren't. We can't tap into it, right? And I mean, no other living things, right? I know that we are here and we're experiencing what we're experiencing. And so that's the focus. But we are energy. And we need to realize that we are capable of vibrating at frequencies far beyond what we've been told or conditioned. I want conditioned. That's a word I want somebody write conditioned in there. We are conditioned to believe what we believe, and society promotes or pushes that. But yet, today, folks, let's step and let's be the forerunners in stepping into this new era, this understanding. We're the ones that are able to step into an age of expanded consciousness, an awakening and experience that we have had in silos. We've had these silos of awakenings and then they get crushed. Awakenings and somebody crushes it down, or we'll have an awakening, or we'll have an experience, or someone will do something, and then somehow we there's a way that someone basically demonizes or kills off, or even online right now, if you begin to speak on some of these things, and depending on how big you get, you can end up having people come for you to deny any of the truth behind spirituality and spiritual autonomy, spiritual independence. Because if you don't have an allegiance to a spiritual or religious, rather, because I think they are, spirituality is different than religion versus spiritual, because religious people can be spiritual. Spirituality is what I would consider different, and can be confusing because of what is new age thinking versus what is expanded awareness and conscious thinking, and the integration of the non-physical, the non, right, um, what we can't necessarily measure. It's really difficult for scientists to work in that space. And you've heard me say it, and I've said it numerous times, but I really want to kind of address the elephant in the room, because, and I think we need it for all of us out here that are moving, deconstructing is the operative word today. Um, some are deconstructed, or contemplating, asking questions, looking at their lives and how they have come to this point in their lives, how they're able to rather reject or question the narrative and the stories that we have been presented. And for me, through a colonized message, through a message that has had a strategic um, objective, right? To get as many people as possible to believe one thing when it comes to spiritual, and that thing only. But to address this new age phenomenon, which, as some people say, John Thomas, ain't nothing. And Carlton has even said nothing new about the new age, right? One thing that we must address, though, is that it also can carry a negative connotation, because there's so many people that are throwing it out there. I'll give a few comments to my connections and feelings with law of attraction. But the negative connotation, especially when we viewed it through the lens of traditional religion, why is it that people have a problem with it? And because we know that it yet instills, chase a real quick rabbit. If you want more research and understanding on this, look up Alice Bailey. Alice Bailey. Alice was a pretty interesting, that is where we get new thought. And you even have new thought churches. You had the divine science churches. But look up Alice Bailey. There is another person you can look up that was really interesting. It's not coming to mind. Somebody might know. The Russian lady, last name started with a B. Put it in the comments. But Alice Bailey had the new thought. I mean, new age, considered new age, but she had a series, and she got a series of downloads, right? And so she's got a lot of books that came actually probably towards the late 1800s. And it's amazing just when you can read some of that work, and she came from the church. But even at that time, these things were challenging. The structures, the systems of control, the things that told us that there was only one way to connect to God, and it's not connecting to yourself. Yet these so-called new age ideas, as we know, aren't new. Why are they not new? Because of the ancient truths, the rediscoveries and reframing for today. There's some things from the Gnostics, and there's some things that from Hermes, and there's some things from, right. I believe that we were completely different. I believe the early church was even completely different than what we have today. And what I'm talking here, I want you to know all of this is in the heart of energy. Moving here, moving there. Where do I go? What do I do? What do I believe? It's energy. Now we're in the race. Who can put up the most videos online talking about, you know, whatever. We got made up theologians talking about whatever. Even we got spiritual people that are that are selling crystals and doing tarot card readings, and so therefore you can easily get this bubblegum idea that that is spirituality, and that is what I'm talking about when we talk about energy, vibration, frequency. But I want to share with you the shift. You ready? We can shift and should shift, and we're going to talk about how to shift. We're going to talk about how to shift, and we can align with the frequency of greatness simply by being aware, connected, paying attention to our feelings. It's different than emotions. People say, I don't care about your feelings. Technically, what they're really saying to me is like, I don't care about your emotions. Feelings are are feelings are not deposits, but feelings is energy. And you can shift the feeling, which gives an emotion. Track with me. Track this, okay? Emotions, sort of how we feel when we go to the church, when we jump, shout, dance, and do all that. To me, I believe there are a lot more emotions that are mistaken for feelings. And when you have groups of people together, as they would do in Africa, the emotion and the feeling and the expression leads to a connection and possibly feelings of transcendence. But for the most part, it would be emotions, and people enjoy it. They feel good. It feels like dancing. It moves through their body, and they like it. I mean, I'm a musician. We used to love to play it. They got East Coast style. They got, traditional style. They got, South Carolina style. This is praise dance, and from a musician standpoint. They got all these different, the different tempos. You got to go faster in on the East Coast, and you go, slower in the the South, or all these various things that musicians have created within the African American church, um, that are totally 100% affiliated and associated with the power and the move of God. And I believe that they can provide some level of transcendence. I believe that it can provide some level of connecting, but I truly believe personally, as I been a musician and as I watch people do it, and as I look at the results of people in church in their lives, a lot of it hasn't changed in American society specifically, but we can go as far as to say, especially from the Pentecostal dancing standpoint and how connected they are, most of the people, or a big chunk of the people, are are surviving, not thriving. They they go get jobs and they be American citizens, or of the world, and yet though they go to those churches and they do all that and they pay all that money, and nothing necessarily changes in their life, because there's more that has to change than a quick movement, a jump, or a shout. And this also aligns with spirituality. People want to manifest. There's some connections. There are some connections where people want to manifest something. They want things to come to their lives, but yet though they don't understand the energy. Here's something I wrote that I'm gonna post in and there's more that I'll post into the community, on Patreon. Law of attraction can get bashed or discredited because of the ideologies associated in the belief that you can think something you want versus desires, as I say, and then it just all of a sudden pops up. Now, there's truth to it. I've done it, I've used it, but there's more to the story. So, for many of us growing up in religious settings, we didn't watch The Secret. Remember that? And for those that didn't also understand and believe that America is built, we grew up believing America was built on hard work, hustle, and grind. The bootstrap ideologies. Pull yourself up the bootstrap. We have that presence and that feeling, although you still go into church and you still have this prosperity, if you will, thinking, and there are things that are aligned with that are true. But there's a lot of limitations based on how that works. Because if it was very true, people would be going more to a church than they are going to school institutions to learn how to do something so they can, give quote unquote God something to use in their life so that can lead to other quote manifestations in their life. But the feeling is, if you don't earn it by working for it, sacrificing, and possibly suffering for it, it's not real or legit. Anybody ever hear that? This may also be associated with the rag to riches story. Anybody familiar with the rag to riches story? People, even though those are real, you got some of the most successful people that, I mean, you even hear it from Trump, where it's like, how much did he start with? He started with this much, he started with that much. He could start with zero, but as long as he has his skin and long as he has his family's understanding over, his lifetime, just with being in around the energy is going to help you with who you are. It's what you know, it's what you believe, and nobody can tell you anything different. He truly 100% manifested, believed it with against all odds, being crazy, still used levels and laws to manifest what he desired. Sorry. I don't see how. I mean, it's really weird. Really weird. But it is what it is. That's part of the law. I started with nothing is like a form of when people success that basically says I'm super duper better than any other human, right? Oh my god, he's so smart. He's wow. And they we in that age where it's like, oh my god, man, Cat Williams told it like it is. He's so brilliant. Yeah, he's got an IQ of this. The richest man, smartest man on at least in the United States that has been documented is just some dude in Missouri. Being smart doesn't equal like, oh my God, he's like the ideal human being. Usually they're the weirdest. Usually they're eccentric. Usually they don't have any friends. Usually they can't even live. It's hard to live, right? Nothing against being intelligent by no means, but intellect and spirit can take you really far in this world. Believe me, believing, trusting, understanding, knowing, connecting, tapping in, turning on, tuning in to your higher self, right? Staying away from energy vampires. And when you get around one, you instantly know, woohoo, energy vampire, gotta go. Not gonna affiliate, not gonna associate. And sometimes you don't even need to engage. Just let them talk and let them be and engage as little as possible because it's an energy. I'm in the belief that you can and will in something let's see. The belief that you can and will Jesus. This is something that I guess I haven't fully edited. Anyways, there are a lot of misunderstandings behind the principles of vibration, frequency, and energy. A lot of misunderstandings. And what we're going to learn and we're going to do tonight here is just go through some of the processes and the feelings, right? To know that we are moving our energy, right? There are things we're facing and dealing with right now that we don't, there's not much you can do. And you can sit back and watch the news and watch the news and watch the news. How long are they going to sit here and talk about? How long are they going to sit here and talk about the assassination of the United Healthcare Insurance Company CEO? Of course, it was crazy. It was weird. Like, it was whatever, right? Once you know, like, something like that happens, how much more do you really need to know? They're going to handle it, they're going to deal with the law, but you can go and you can see replication after replication and repeat. Everybody wants to have that top news and everybody else is searching it, right? And some people are in the click and view business, which I understand because that's where their money is. So they're looking for clicks and views. They're not looking for enlighten you into anything. All they looking for is your attention, and they want to suck the energy and life out of you. That's it. Your time and your eyeballs is energy. Social media, outside of the content that is going to hopefully elevate who you are, make you aware of the things that are out there, connect you to your higher self, get you into the right vibration so that you can actually recognize, realize, and understand when something comes in front of you that you can say, nope, nope. I like that. Where our thoughts and energy go, and that's where it flows. You got to be aware. And if you're not aware, how do you get aware? because it's happening all around you. It all begins with awareness. And one of the things that you're going to hear from me over and over again, I remember having a conversation with Bishop Carlton Pearson about meditation. It's on one of the episodes, his previous episodes. And he comes from, and I know he knows something, knew some things about it, but he came from the space that, meditate and pray on the word, or meditate and pray on. So to meditate and pray would just be given thoughts, just given thoughts. But I'm here to tell you, meditation is a powerful tool for us. In the stillness, if you've been still right now and you just listen to me, maybe your eyes are closed. But in the stillness, we can observe the energy that we are carrying. That long pause where you're waiting for me to say something, where the energy stops. Energy we may not even realize today is shaping our lives. I just want you to know, are you vibrating at a frequency that is pushing you into fear, doubt, limitation? Think about what I just said about what was going on. I know that you're going to tap in on some news, or you might come across the news. I know that. I come across news. But when do you know, and when do you get to the point where you say, I'm newsed up, or I got the weather and I got this? And I'm going to tell you something that's kind of deep. I don't know. There's about 20 people or so in the room right now. But do you know that I remember Bishop Pearson used to be diligent? He would record the news. Because I think what he would do is he would use the news to actually talk about current affairs, which was kind of cool. Talk about current things, what's going on. And sometime, of course, I know personally, I don't even think he did, but it kind of is, if it's a relevant conversation, somebody might click on it. But he had a love for, you know, Channel 6 or whatever the channel may be, Dateline, but that news coming on, and he wants to record it because he may have a conversation. But one thing I do know, that news can have a negative energy, and it can repeat itself. And there is very few things, unless you maybe are watching some stories on NPR, right? You're not going to see too many stories that are vibrating in a frequency and energy that makes you feel like the world is going to be okay. Or because you can't go to church and do that, or get into a vibration where you feel like I'm getting something and I'm going to be able to move and be in this space that's coming, or this space that's here, that's going to lift my essence and my vibration. And I'm automatically going to be going into and feeling and knowing greatness is my destiny, because I'm shifting who I am. I'm shifting my thoughts. I'm recognizing my thoughts so that I can shift my thoughts. So are you vibrating a frequency of fear, doubt, or limitation? Or are you consciously choosing love? Are you consciously choosing abundance? Are you consistently or consciously choosing expanded consciousness, expansion. I'm here to tell you, it's a practice because I know for a fact that I can sit back and say I have been, and that's the reason why I think people are deconstructing is because that's when we get involved with shadow work or we get involved with the existential things that are we pulling into our life and we want that suffering, that Buddhist thing, right? The suffering, the suffering. Jesus is the suffering, right? The Catholics wanted to, and Mel Gibson wanted to put Jesus on there, and they wanted to, bro. They put so much blood and so many whelps and so much on Jesus. Like they want to make sure whatever we do, we want to make sure Jesus does not look like a slave. Like slaves got beat. So for the most part, we know they got whips on their back, and we've seen some of those pictures. This is just in my intuition. It was kind of like we want Jesus when Mel Gibson was doing that was like we want Jesus to look worse than like we never seen how slave we seen how slaves were in pictures, which could have been even worse. But we wanted to make Jesus look so bad. And it was Jesus that did it. And he took these stripes for us and it took all this pain for your sin. How come God just didn't get rid of the devil and let Jesus go free? Sorry. Sorry. I know that just messed some of y'all up. I'm just curious with this God, devil, Jesus. You know what that is? It's duality. God, devil. God, devil. God, devil. We got to keep it. Republican, Democrat, good, bad, black, white, kind. You know what I mean? And you don't do kind of white. You either do black, white, or some other color. Right? Duality. Questions. Those are metaphysical questions. Questions that we won't answer because then they say you just gotta believe. You just gotta believe and just know. Y'all getting this? Y'all getting this? When you recognize the energy within you, are you recognizing the energy within you? Are you really wanting to unlock your potential? We see the barriers and the things that we face within us. They're not external, they're internal. A lot of this is rooted in the stories you've been told, and some of those stories you didn't told yourself. We're in a stage, on stage, a stage of of a I would say of what we can consider an enlightenment. The difference between what we experienced in the past versus what we experience now, I think we have the ability to assess what we are experiencing and use history and actually call it for what it is. At the time these people were experiencing awakenings or churches are growing, people are marketing harder basically to get more people into their churches, and churches are growing and growing and growing. Churches are on decline fast, and they're doing everything, anything, everything possible to make churches grow right now. Fear, guilt, shame, uh, uh, pyrotechnics, screens, bigger screens, and shows, and they doing everything possible to grab people's attention. with good intentions for the most part. It's just what they know. Just depends on how the Kool-Aid tastes. But it's pretty easy to drink the Kool-Aid today. But we're in an age also where you can you could you can see them and see that they drink. It's not too many Jim Joneses is happening anymore, where people just blindly go and be like, "See, this is the reason why you don't want to follow God or follow Jesus." I mean, I'm sorry, this is the reason why you don't follow an individual, because these individuals, and you start going into that other stuff. Look what happened to Jim Jones. Look at all those people. It's like y'all drinking the same poison and the same Kool-Aid, because what is it doing for you in your life? We're about to experience and experiencing another level of enlightenment. But this enlightenment, I think, comes in the form also of an awakening to the truth, awakening to our higher self, awakening that we are not separated from the divine, awakening that there is a oneness. There's a oneness within us. There's a realization that we are the divine simultaneously. Understanding that we're not speaking from philosophy, but we're speaking from experience. We're taking action, writing books, getting books, right? Be- Documenting, realizing, understanding that, I know I feel something different. I know I feel something that I'm connected to on this side of life. And I'm moving in the right direction. It's time to reclaim. It's time to reclaim our power. Realize and understand that we can vibrate at a frequency, right? We can vibrate at a frequency that is equal to our greatness, and to create a life aligned with your higher self. We can learn to expand and understand what expansion of our consciousness is. I understand and know many of us have experienced, will experience, have experienced, may be experiencing something that is an energy, a force. And that force or energy can seemingly be coming or wanting to work against you, your energy, your mind, your body, your existence. And how we walk through that, how we work through that, how we believe through that, how we know what we know through that. This is coming up to a new year. And there's something about New Year's that we all experience and have experienced. You might be able to reflect back to think about some of the years, some of the things that you may have experienced over the years. And you had some great, amazing years, and you had some tough ones. But I'm here to know and help us get into the space and flow that we can vibrate the energy, right, that's equal to frequency that allows us to move into our higher self. I know that you could recognize, and I want you to recognize what you may experience this month and going through December, right? Been through November, now we're in December. And some of the things you might experience being around certain people, but then moving into this next year, we can begin to feel how we want it to be. We can feel how we want to feel, right? That's what I'm doing. That's what I have no choice but to do is begin to feel how we want to feel. I want to thank Mr. Joel for providing us with played this for us. And I invite you in this moment right now just to relax and go through a quick meditation with me. Seeing yourself right now that there is some level of greatness and potential that you can tap into. Monitor and feel your breath as it comes through your nose, breathing all the way in deeply and releasing. Deep breath in your nose, much as you can, in your chest, and release it. Your thoughts are constantly moving, constantly going. But you're going to take this one moment right now to pay attention to those and release them. And feel yourself in the space that you're in, your body, while you breathe, recognizing the breath come in and out. There's some transcending moments and things happening right now. Letting go and being here. This is your awakening. This is your enlightenment. You will recognize and see and feel negative energy and be able to feel it and know to let it go. from the news that you hear and everything that's going on around us and in the world. Recognize it, see it, but you gotta let it go. And feel and know your higher self. What are you here for? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you doing? You're going to know as you clear your mind, because that is just to be. That is just to be. Deep breath in your nose, out your mouth. Feel it. Feel it. You're there. Feel it. Feel it. Transcendence. Breakthrough. Things work out in your favor. This is how manifestation works, is you're going to the silence, feeling and connecting to your space you're in, feeling and connecting to your heart. Things beginning to work out in your favor. No guilt, no shame, no fear, no blame. Let the wind blow. Oh, no guilt, no shame. Stay with me. Stay with me. Deep breath in, deep as you can. Pull it in, hold it. It's here. And release it. Push it all out. Now I want to walk you back. Walk you back. If you got to, move your feet, move your body a little bit, move your hands, move your neck. You're coming back. You're coming back. coming back. Let this resonate in your heart. Let this resonate in your heart. Y'all gotta let me go. I'm feeling it. Y'all are some powerful people out there. You are powerful people. You are powerful people. There's something about when you're at home and there's nobody around, there's nobody looking at you, and it's just you. It's just you right now. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to remind you at the bottom of the screen, make sure you go to the Expanded Conscious Community on Patreon. Even if you do free, I'm working some things out, how I'm going to work that. I'm going to post some things and I guarantee you. And we're going to do a Zoom call. And I'm getting into that space, right? I'm getting into the space. I've been doing this coming February. I think February the 20th was when our DE took. And turned it into the legacy of Carlton Pearson, and I started in inclusion. And I'm keeping the expanded consciousness community going. It's different when it wasn't just me, but I appreciate you guys and anyone that's in the room. I think what I may do also is I'm going to upload that track called Heaven's Rest Meditation by our own Mr. Joel Brown. I'm going to upload that to the Patreon so you guys get to enjoy it. He played it for some time. We're going to have some more music rolling like that so that we can do our own meditations. Blessings from the highest order. If anyone is feeling anything in their body right now, because I know I'm feeling things that I'm experiencing, but for some reason, I just have to be in that space that it's more of lessons. And right, this journey is not for everyone, but we here. I appreciate everyone in the space, in the room at this moment. If we have, let's see, I appreciate you, Miss Velma. I see you, Miss Velma. See you, Miss Gwen. Bishop Penhallow. We need to get you scheduled for next year. What we would consider, I believe, Eastern Orthodox, a whole different understanding. Miss Velma, we have the power to make the world better now. Let it be. happy. Beautiful. Thank you, Miss Dorothy, Miss Teresa, Miss Deidre. Thank you so, thank you so much, everyone that's here in the space, in the room. Yes, yes, yes. Get my comments back on here. Oh, how sweet. How sweet. Thank you, Miss Dorothy. Thank you so much. Ah, I like that. I traded my Kool-Aid for rose wine. All right, guys. We'll leave on this vibration. How about that? Y'all feeling it? I'm feeling it. On the feel right. Create your destiny. Create your destiny. It is on you right now, in this hour, in this moment. Feel it. I'm not just talking about positive thinking, I'm talking about positive feeling. All right, peoples. I look forward to connecting to you. Much love. Have a good one.